I'm the founder of InkScreen. Our company is based in Austin, Texas, in the United States, and we were founded in 2012. We've had a terrific partnership with Nomasis for the last 5 years. And just as to follow on with the introduction, we work with government and business customers all over the world. We're based in Texas in the United States, but actually roughly 80% of our customer base is in Europe. And so, we've had great adoption in Europe, and I think our solutions have really resonated there. And I think the reason for that is because we have taken a very un-American approach to application development, in that we do not do any data collection through our applications. So our customers are ensured 100% data ownership and privacy with the way they use our applications, the content that they capture with our applications. We do not store, process, have any visibility to any photos that our customers take, any documents that are scanned, and what have you. And believe me, if we've done quite a bit of research on the other applications that are on the market that are used oftentimes without IT's permission, and they may be free or €1, etc. And they are it's atrocious the amount of data collection that's occurring within a lot of those applications, and just the risk of off-site processing, server-side processing, cloud storage, etc., that could happen with very sensitive documents that are being scanned or photos that are being taken on the job. We're going to focus today on our Mobile Iron solution. So we work with a variety of enterprise mobility management platforms, but Mobile Iron is our top line solution. And so the application we're going to discuss is Capture for Mobile Iron. And so this is effectively a camera app for business purposes. We've extended the functionality beyond camera functions, from our early days where we were strictly camera applications, so you take pictures or record video. We've also incorporated document scanning, audio recording, and a QR code reader, and we have more on the way coming this year and in the future. The Mobile Iron version is an App Connect app, both iOS and Android. App Connect is Mobile Iron's security platform, where they actually introduced an SDK, a software development kit that we introduced into the market about 5 years ago with Mobile Iron. And it takes extensive engineering and testing over the lifetime of an application, way beyond what a normal kind of consumer grade application might require, to be able to maintain currency with Mobile Iron and support all of the security features that they offer. And we've extended those security features by providing around 30 or 40 custom configuration options for the Capture application. And all of it can be set within Mobile Iron, so it's a very, very simple implementation. There's not a lot of, there's no extra servers that have to be spun up in order to utilize our application. It's all handled within Mobile Iron Core or Mobile Iron Cloud, depending on the flavor of UEM that you use with Mobile Iron. Here are some examples of some of the policies that we offer. We take a lot of these have come from customer suggestions. So we envision kind of the core use cases that our application might support. People in the field that maybe have to take pictures of work sites, salespeople scanning paper documents, contracts, etc., and having to email them back to the home office. Field workers that are documenting situations in secure facilities, healthcare workers that are taking pictures of patients, all these different things. And through working with all of our customers, we've had requests over the years to add different configuration policies that support their specific use case. And so we've done things like introducing a way to set the PDF version. So if you scan a document and wherever this document ends up, there's some regulation that requires it to be a PDF A, which is an uneditable version of PDF, PDF 1.4, whatever the PDF version we support. I think, 17 different types of PDF versioning, and that can be set in MobileIron's UEM so that the end user doesn't even have to think about it. If they use our application and they create a PDF, it's going to be validated to the PDF version that's been set. So that's just one example, but I could go on and talk about all the different things that we've supported over the years. The application itself is intended to be very easy to use for the employee. So an end user would think of it as, hey, this is my business camera app. If I'm on the job and I need to take a photo for work, I use the Capture app. If I need to take a personal photo, if this is a phone that is personally enabled, I use the native camera. The content that is captured within the Capture app stays within the Capture app. It's completely containerized. It doesn't connect to the native galleries at all. And so, you've got complete separation between the personal photos, personal, content, whether it's audio recordings, et cetera, and what you're capturing within this application for business. It's very simple to use, so the end user will not have any trouble kind of getting started with the application. It's intended to look and feel like a native application, and so they're not having to kind of relearn something that's complicated to do something as simple as hey, I just need to take a picture and email it to a colleague. That's intended to be very easy. We have annotation capabilities, so you can scan a document, add highlighting, add redactions, draw arrows on the document, etc. Same thing for photos. You can do draw arrows, add text labels, etc. on a photograph. Let's see here. The metadata collection is very unique in our application. So you will have the end user will have the ability to actually, in a sense, edit the metadata for the photo or the file that they have captured. And by edit, I mean they can change the way that the location data is displayed or recorded. You're not really altering where the location is, but you can change it from a kind of a city-state country to a latitude-longitude coordinate. And then you could also add in custom notes about the location. So, we work with a lot of law enforcement customers, where there maybe a police officer is taking pictures of a crime scene and they want to add in a note about the location where the photo was captured that's very specific, the northwest corner of the kitchen or something like this. And they will still have the precise latitude longitude coordinates to be able to identify, exactly where that photo was taken, but then they can have more contextual notes added as well that could extend the value of that asset, that photographic asset, to be used later in a court proceeding or just in the overall evidence management system that they're using. In December of last year, we introduced a new backup option. This is completely optional. So some of our customers have said, hey, the application's great. We don't allow our employees to use iCloud or to, back up content, anything that's outside, in the cloud or outside of our corporate domain. So what we did was we introduced this secure content copy backup service, which is basically just a set of data transfer protocols that can be established within MobileIron Core and enforced on the application so that the backup process can happen either automatic in the background, so the end user has really no idea it's even occurring, or it can be set up to happen at the push of a button. So the end user would, within the application, hit a button that says backup, and it would automatically copy the photos and other content within the application back to the server. And we currently support SMB. It's actually SMB2, so a slightly more secure version of the original. SFTP, OneDrive from Microsoft, and WebDAV. So 4 different ways that you can enforce the backup process to occur. And then, as far as where does the content go, you can set up a very simple kind of content server on your network to collect this content. We have some really interesting use cases that are happening around the world that, we have a government run hospital system where physicians are taking pictures. They're backing up to a central server. This customer's on MobileIron and they use Docs at Work. And through Docs at Work, they connected that same content server, and now any other physicians in the network will have access to the same photos that the original doctor took. So if the patient ends up going to a different healthcare facility than they originally went to, that the doctor that they see, as long as they're in the same network, which in this case it's a federal government-run system, they'll have access to the patient photos that were taken from Capture by a mobile device, a doctor across, on the other side of the country, and have access to the doctor notes and so on with those photos. So it's really become an awesome way to open up new use cases and enable further value in the content that's being captured. It also creates copies, so if the device is lost or broken, dropped and destroyed or stolen, whatever the case may be, you don't lose that content. It's been backed up. You have copies of it, and so it could easily be restored to the user later. I've covered most of these features and benefits. I wanted to include this slide mainly for the archive of the presentation. So, if you were to review this later, you can pause and read some of this. I don't want to go through and read all of these again, but I think most of it's been mentioned. I haven't talked much about the audio recording, but some of the customers that we have that use audio are law firms. So we work with a lot of large law firms around the world, and their attorneys might be doing audio depositions, audio recordings of a customer, a client speaking and answering questions. Obviously the video feature could be used for that as well, but that's something I'll get into in the demonstration. Our website is inkscreen.com. We have a landing page specific for the mobile iron solution as well. We conduct free trials, so if you go to inkscreen.com/trial, you can register for a trial. And if you enter into the notes that you work with Nomasis, we will set up your trial for you. We'll notify the Nomasis representatives, and they can help you with the implementation. As I mentioned before, they have been working with us for about 5 years now, so they're very well in tune with how to set up the application. They can help you in that process. And they also, because they're a reseller partner of ours, you can acquire the licenses directly from Nomasis. You don't have to set up a new contract with us to acquire licenses for this application. Okay, I'm going to move out of this and go into an actual demonstration. Let's see here. I want to start by just showing you within Mobile Iron. This is our core implementation, and let's see here. It's really straightforward to set this up. You're really just setting up the configuration and the container policy that are App Connect configuration container policies within core. There are only 2 required key value pairs. The rest are optional. And so, for this specific implementation, we've set it up to for backup service to happen using OneDrive. I can tell from looking at this that the backup process is manual. I've got the Capture user set, which just identifies the user. It identifies the who took the photo for anything that's shared outside of the container. Yeah, I guess that's probably good enough for there. Okay, I'm going to switch over to this device now. So I've got an iPhone. This happens to be, I think, a 6S, and this has got all of the Mobile Iron secure services included. Along the bottom here, you see Docs at Work, Web at Work, Mobile Iron, Mobile at Work, and then the Capture app is the bottom right. I'm going to go ahead and launch that. Let's see, that's not. Let's start this over. You're going to see my face for one split moment, maybe. Okay, I'm going to unplug my phone and plug it back in. I think it was sitting too long. Okay, you see iTunes come up. And QuickTime again. So the movie recording, see if we can get this to work. All right, okay. So here's the iPhone 6. I'm gonna launch Capture. It's authenticating through mobile at work. Use my fingerprint to finalize the authentication. And here we are at the home screen. This should look familiar. I'm gonna get this stuff out of the way. So from the home screen, you've got the 5 different capture modes. If I want to take a photo, I hit the photo button, record an audio, scan a document, etc. Up on the top right, you'll see the settings, and this matches what is set in core. Okay, so username here is Josh. That's the user ID for the email address associated with my account here. I have it set to show the caption for any photos that are captured and shared. The location is set to city. File name base is just our file nomenclature system. PDF versioning, trash deletion policy, the backup configuration, et cetera, et cetera. You know, so all of this would be, if it's set in core, the end user cannot change it. If it's not set in core, then the user would have the ability to make changes to their settings. So that's completely up to the IT administrator for your company. I'm going to go ahead and take a picture. This is where you get to kind of see into the office. I'm going to take a selfie of myself. Hello. Take the picture there. If I want to open that photo now and apply some annotations, I could say, you know, wow, Josh, you have a really big forehead. I'm going to add an arrow there. Maybe I want to add a text label. You know, who is this guy? You can crop it. Got too much of my shirt showing there. So you can see how that works. If I want to scan a document, I've got just a one page here on my desk. You can see the yellow border or the yellow outline indicates the edge detection. You could take you know, we test up to 100-page documents here. It gets a little unwieldy with really large documents, but it's possible. So now if I want to go in here, I can hit the filter button to remove any color. You know, so now it's stripped out to be just black and white. If I highlight it, I can delete a page. I can also switch to grid mode. If I want to reorder a page, you can drag and drop if you have multiple pages here. And then just like with the photo, if I double tap that page, I can now apply annotations like highlighting, redactions, etc. Whatever you want to do. You can also fix the cropping if there's a cropping error from the original capture. So you kind of see how that all works. The audio recording, video would be the same. If I want to look at the folder here, we have a variety of different gestures you can use to manage your content. If I pick a folder like this project folder and swipe left, you've got options. I can delete the contents of that folder. I can edit the name. I can share the contents of the folder with one swipe and tap of the share button. I could also back up the contents of that folder by just hitting the backup button. So really powerful, you know, easy to use functions like that really, you know, from an end user perspective, you know, I think if you look back in the history of our development project, you know, initially we were really focused on the security aspects. We wanted to make sure that we satisfied IT requirements to secure the content. And since then, we've done a lot of work to try to improve the user experience. So, you know, make the app easier, more delightful to use, you know, and just fast. And so, you know, that's been the focus over the last year and a half. You know, we've got the security part covered. We've been through, you know, audits by federal governments, you know, hospital systems, et cetera, you know, in Europe and in the United States. We passed every time. We've never had a breach. You know, I should knock on wood by saying that. But you know, we've really been through a lot of security audits. We know we cover our bases in that regard. And so now we're focused on, you know, providing a better user experience. And so, you know, things like those gestures go a long way. If I'm in the folder now, similarly, I could swipe left on this file, delete it, edit it, share it. If I hit the tap to favorites, it's been added to my favorites folder. You've got, if I hit the select button on the bottom right, I can now select and highlight and share multiple files at once, delete things or move them into a new folder. and then you've got sorting options, name, date, type, etc. But say I want to just take this one photo, this picture of my router, and I want to share it. You can see here, you've got different file format options. If I switch to PDF, it gives me the ability to share this one photo as a PDF. I could select 10 photos, share them as one PDF document where a photo is represented on each page. And we've got things like, hey, I want to change the aspect ratio to, A4 page size. I want to set a PDF password so that the recipient, only person with the password would be able to open the file. We've kind of done all these things over the years to really beef up the security and functionality and kind of broaden the different use cases that we support here. Okay. Final thing I want to show you is the actual metadata. So, if I hit the kind of media info button on the bottom, you can see the file name given, which I can edit, the date and time the photo was captured, the username. I could add in a note here that could be as many as 255 characters. And then you could also change the location to a custom value, as I mentioned before. So that would travel with the photo as metadata in addition to the latitude, longitude coordinates that you would have, precisely identifying location. That concludes the demonstration. I want to take the last 5 minutes to answer any questions. Obviously, I've focused on the mobile iron solution and the iOS application. I know one of the questions we often get is, related to Android. We have just this year actually released an Android version, 2 Android versions. One is an Android Enterprise version, which follows what's called the app config community standards of app configuration and data management. And we also have released an App Connect version with Mobile Iron, which is a wrapped version of this for Android that functions very similar to what you just saw on the iOS side. And so, that's relatively new. We've been an Apple-centric company for the years prior to this, but we've finally jumped into the Android side.